Hey, welcome to the Cohn phone. My name's Grant Cohn, and I will be taking your calls for the next hour and a half until I got to get out of here because I got to check out at noon Mountain Time and go to practice. I was at practice yesterday. I'm going to be in Mexico City tomorrow. You want to call in, the link is in the chat. It's in the description. But first I want to talk about this trip to Colorado and then Trent Williams. So it's really freaking cold right now. It's snowing out there. When I go out to practice, I'm going to have to get the little scraper out of my trunk and scrape all the snow off of my car. And so that's where the Niners are at. They schlepped out here. I schlepped out here. They gave themselves extra travel. They gave themselves 3 practices in the snow. One's a walkthrough. So they could prepare for a game in Mexico City. Now, Mexico City's very high up. So they're trying to get the altitude acclimation process kickstarted. But wow, what a cost. You have to do extra travel, stay out here, be cold, practice in the cold. It sounds exhausting. The whole process, extra travel, practicing the cold, sounds exhausting. Not to mention you're in the altitude. And the whole idea is that you're fresh when this game comes through on Monday. Last time the Niners stayed on the road to be fresh for a game, they got stomped and looked sluggish. That was in Atlanta after practicing in West Virginia. So I'm not saying the Niners are going to lose to the Cardinals. The Cardinals aren't good. I just think the Niners could have beaten the Cardinals without doing this. They could have stayed home, been fresh, and then gotten to Mexico City as unprepared as the Cardinals are. Cardinals aren't doing anything special. Well, they are. They're using these elevation masks while they ride on bikes. I don't know if it works. It's something. They've been doing it for weeks. The Niners came up here, and they're trying to sort of do it in a week. Maybe they can. But I don't feel like it's necessary to beat the Cardinals. And so everything is a risk reward. The reward for the Niners ideally is that they prepare perfectly and they have this huge edge on the Cardinals and they win by a lot. The other thing is, what if they tire themselves out before the game even starts? The travel, the snow, and from what I understand, it's not just as simple as going to the altitude and just recreating your entire routine from sea level and bringing it up there and doing it for a week and like, boom, we're ready. There is a risk of overtraining at altitude, from what I understand. You can look it up, keep me honest. But all week the Niners said, we're not doing anything different. We're doing our normal stuff. Okay, well, hopefully they don't overtrain in the cold after doing an extra trip, because it sounds like this could not only affect this game against the Cardinals, but the next one. You know, this is a Monday night game. Then they have a short week to prepare for the next game at home. You'd hate to have them have a hangover because they unnecessarily went into the snow, the Rocky Mountains, to prepare for Mexico City. Again, I'm not picking the Cardinals to win this game. I just think it's hilarious how they stayed at home and they're like, yeah, we're good. We're just going to chill and wear these masks. And, you know, what happens. And the Niners are like, no, we got to go to the Air Force Academy and practice in snow to get the little 3% edge to beat Arizona. Like, okay. All right. That's fine, and maybe it'll work out. I have no idea. I'm not an expert. But if it doesn't and the Niners lose this game, how embarrassing to do all this. Schlep 53 players plus the practice squad, plus all the coaches and the PR staff and the trainers and the equipment guys. It's a lot of people. Stay at the Broadmoor. It's expensive. To lose to a team that just kicked their heels up and they're like, we're good. We're going to stay in Arizona this week. It's warm. Why would we do that? We're probably going to lose anyway. Why? If the Niners hadn't done this, would Arizona be here right now? It feels like the Niners made this plan like when the schedule came out. And then as the season went on and Cardinals weren't that good and the weather report came out, instead of like being, we don't need to do this. Let's just not go. They're like, you know what? We're locked in. And the reason I'm questioning this is because I don't think this is Kyle Shanahan's plan. This is Ben Peterson's plan, most likely. He's in charge of all the preparation. What does he know? We constantly question Ben Peterson's ability to prep the 49ers for anything. Coming off injuries, preparing for the season. So now all of a sudden, this guy knows how to prepare for elevation? Seems like he just got the Niners stuck in a snowstorm. And me too. And I resent him for that. So hopefully this was all worth it. Because if they lose to Colt McCoy or Trace McSorley or whomever after all this, man, I'm going to laugh and cry at the same time. One more thing I want to talk about. So the Trent Williams tipping plays scandal. It's not that he's out there being like, hey, we're running spider two-eyed banana. It's not like that. It's just a run-pass tendency. When he has his feet together, it's usually a run. When he has his left foot staggered back, it's usually a pass. It's been so stark, he's been called for illegal formations, kicking his left foot back so far. A lot of people online said it's no big deal. Former players, Jeff Schwartz, Emmanuel Acho. I think a lot of contemporaries of Trent Williams having his back because they respect him. I asked Kyle Shanahan about it yesterday, and I phrased the question in a really weak way because I was embarrassed. I felt he was going to shout me down. I was like, look, man, there's a viral video of Trent Williams tipping plays allegedly, even stance, run, staggered stance, pass. Have you seen this? Do you know about it? And if you do, why is the coaching staff okay with it? Because I would just assume they'd know. And they would say, yeah, we don't care. End of story. But the thing about Kyle is he always disagrees with the premise of my question. So by phrasing it that way, it set him up to be like, no, it would be a big deal, which is interesting. And then he was like, but I haven't looked at your viral videos and I'm cool with Trent. So that was an interesting answer. Yes, it's a big deal if it's happening. 2, yes, it seems to be happening. And 3, Kyle's saying he's not aware of it. So my question to you is, do you believe him when he says he's not aware of it? And that he's just not, no one on the Niners is looking at these details? Or that they have seen it, it's been called to their attention, and they don't want to give Jesse Naylor credit for being the real quality control on this team? That's my question. Do they know about it and they don't want to give credit? Or do they literally not know? Because if they don't know about this, man, they really need quality control. And if you said it's not a big deal, well, Kyle Shanahan disagrees with you. The coach I talk to regularly disagrees as well. These are the kind of things coaches are dying to find. There was a video of Bill Belichick from a few years ago when he was coaching against, I forget who it was, the right tackle for the Ravens. And he said they had a tell on him, whether it was run or pass. And they loved facing the Ravens because of that. And one day he didn't play. He was a late scratch. And Belichick was like, no! I don't know. Maybe not all coaches and teams can take advantage of it, but some can. All right, that's my spiel. Let's get to the people. Josh Wyatt, first in line. How you doing?
How you doing today, Grant?
I'm cold. No, but I put it up to 75 degrees in my hotel, so I'm acclimating to Mexico City. I feel good.
So if you're ever wondering why I'm always huddled up in a jacket inside of my van when I'm calling you, because I'm like 30 miles down the road from you right now.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I get it. This is a whole different climate out here.
I like the 49ers' chances of just blowing out the Cardinals on Monday. And I'll tell you why. 49ers, they like to get up for games where everybody's watching. You got NFL Twitter out there. You've got, all the players watching the game. Everybody's going to be talking about it and talking about them. And that's the kind of game they get up for. They're playing a weak opponent that's injured and desperate and broken.
They know them. It's the Cardinals.
And
the Cardinals aren't good.
Not only that, they now have had 2 or 3 weeks of this McCaffrey thing where they've gotten their stuff together, and they shouldn't punt this game. They should not punt this game. They should win 37-13 or 37-6. Like, that's the kind of game we should see out of them if they're a serious team. And we think they might be. But this is a bellwether game, not can they beat the Cardinals. But when the lights are on, and we know that they're going to show up for this game, what are they really? Yeah. What are they really? Especially offensively, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And that can propel them into the rest of the season, and we can know that, okay, when they get in the playoffs and when they're going up against it, that they have that kind of talent and that they have that kind of offensive firepower. But I got to say, they have one of the best defenses in the league. First in yards, 3rd or 4th in points allowed. Crazy good defense. And if they can't put it together on offense against the Cardinals for this game, then it seems like that's just going to be a waste. But
right. I mean, we're almost at Thanksgiving. Like, it's time to put it into gear. Yeah.
But the other thing is, what do the 2 top teams in the division have in common? They're leading the league in turnover differential. Like the The Philadelphia Eagles have like a 21, turnover differential plus turnover. I mean, just insane, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so
Mm-hmm.
you look at the 49ers and they're at -3, and you're like, what the heck is going on? How
Yeah.
can you be leading the league and giving up 3.4 yards per rush, and yet you've
Yeah.
only created 10 turnovers, even though you're
Yeah.
forcing teams into third and long, and you are in the bottom half of the league in third down conversions? What's that about, right? What?
To me, this all happened once Mosley went down. Once Mosley went down, D'Amico changed his style. He went back to last year of like, hey, let's play real conservative and soft. And last year they sucked on third down. And same thing is happening again.
They got to change their philosophy. But what I will say is this is the game in which you change that philosophy and you prove you can do it. Because they're on offense, they've been doing a lot of high risk, low reward offense all season long, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they've got 13 turnovers, but they do a lot of throwing over the middle, right?
Mm-hmm.
Checking down to receivers who are expected to break 14 tackles. A lot of stuff that's going to cause fumbles and sacks and possible interceptions. Jimmy's only thrown 4, but he's thrown 12 interception-worthy passes. It could be a lot worse. And what we saw in that last game is he rolled to his right and he threw a dime down the sideline. He can do that. His shoulder looks better than it's looked since 2019. He can throw that pass. So why not give us some more of that? High reward, low risk, sideline throws, flip the turnover differential, get your defense going on third down, and really just dominate a team and prove you can do it. Because if they can't prove that they can do it here, turn the Cardinals over 4 times, dominate the game, win 40-something to nothing or whatever it is, then when they face the tough teams that they're going to face, what's the point? It's over at that point.
And it's like, to your point, like they should be up for this game. Like, you just played down to the Chargers. You had an extra day to prepare for this game. You went to freaking Colorado Springs. You're super hardcore out here practicing in the snow for a weak opponent. Like, yeah, man, you should definitely take care of business beyond that. You should make a statement with this game, because if you don't, then now you're going to go back and the next week feels like a trap game. Short week, coming home, a little bit of a hangover. You got the Saints. I mean, they're not great, but I don't know. It just feels like if you lose this game, the season could get away from you.
I don't want to see any more of this up and down and back and forth and what's our identity and let's limp into the playoffs, right? I mean, you made an all-in move.
None of that.
You got a premier talent. You've got weapons all over your offense. It's time to go. If you are who you say you are, and we want to believe you, it's time to go now, right?
I agree.
I mean, because
that's why you're here. That's why you're at the Air Force Academy. You're trying to take off now.
Right. If we come back after the game and we're coming on your post-game show and they just eked out a 21-20 victory over the weak, the
Cardinals.
pathetic Cardinals who were limping around just like the Chargers, it tells us nothing, right? And we go through another week of talking about whether Trent Williams is tipping plays instead of talking about a team that could make a run in the playoffs, which is what we all want to talk about.
Agreed.
So let's go.
Let's go, baby.
This is the week.
Thanks, Josh.
All right, have a good one.
Good to see you. All right, Niner all time doesn't have his mic or cam connected, dude. So if you're going to be on the show, you got to connect both of those, and then I can have you on. All right, here we go.
Hey, what's up?
Yo, there you are. How you doing?
Hey.
Yes.
Awesome. Nice to meet you. Thank you so much for all the 49er content that you do, first of all. I watch all your videos, and first of all, I'm from Mexico. So it's exciting that you're coming down to Mexico City. Is it your first time down here in Mexico?
Yeah. I've never been to Mexico City before. My brother got married in Sayulita, if you know where that is. Not too far from, yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, it's a beautiful place.
Puerto Vallarta.
Yeah. So awesome, you're going to be here. The weather's been crazy in Mexico. Not as cold like in Colorado. It's been raining a few at night. In the morning, it's cold. In the afternoon, it's hot. So it's very crazy, But nowhere as cold as in Colorado.
Okay.
So that's a
good
advantage. If you really want to train from Mexico, why don't you just come down here to Mexico City for a few days and train?
That was my question. I mean, yes, this area up here is about the same elevation, but there's serious differences. And so what are you afraid of? Let me ask you, you're from Mexico. Are you from Mexico City?
I am not, but I've been there a lot of times.
Okay, would it have been dangerous for a NFL franchise to spend 6 days in Mexico City?
Nowhere at all.
Explain that. Because I think the average American that doesn't know anything about Mexico City would be like, ooh, that's dangerous.
Insecure. Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not. I mean, it's the thing is that you always see on the TV and everything, but I mean, you know that you're not going to be at night at 10 o'clock, at the city that you don't know. I mean, you just be in the safe places. I mean, it's just not as bad as it seems. Mexico City, I mean, a lot of international teams come and play and stay here, international artists. So, I mean, it's nothing to be really afraid of. A lot of Americans come here and they have a great time.
Well, I think that's probably what Kyle Shanahan's afraid of, the great time. All I can notice is that the 2 trips the Niners have taken have been to like the sleepiest places in America, West Virginia and Colorado Springs. I think that's not a coincidence. It's like, hey man, no Instagram models, no socializing, just stay in your room and hang out with your buddies. It's like, okay. I think Mexico City might be a little too much fun for the 23-year-olds on the team.
That's true. All right.
Yeah.
And then another thing, it's this is a revenge from the 2005 game from the 49ers Arizona game down there. Tim Rattay was the quarterback for the 49ers. And then he got traded to the Buccaneers after that game because he was benched to Alex Smith. And guess who was the quarterback with the Bucs that year? It was Brian Grease. So Brian Grease right now is with the 49ers. And that's just how life is, I was just very unfortunate.
Who was quality control? You know who was quality control in that Bucs team that year in 2005?
Who?
Kyle Shanahan.
Holy smokes.
Kyle Shanahan.
Holy smokes.
Yeah.
That's a
holy smokes.
Holy smokes. That's just the way things are.
Okay.
And just one question for you. Where do you rank the 49ers in your power ratings right now?
Oh man, I don't have a power rankings, but let's do it like this. In the NFC, I think there are 2 teams that are kind of a cut ahead. Minnesota and Philadelphia. Although Philly just lost. Mm-hmm. I think the Niners have as good of a chance as any other team in the NFC to break into that top group. They just haven't done it yet. But they could. I think a lot of us expect them to. But, I mean, Minnesota just beat Buffalo. The Niners don't have a win like that yet.
They don't.
But it's not their fault. They've only really played one playoff team so far, 2.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
what do you think?
You got to beat. I mean, I had the 49ers at number 5. Number 1, Eagles, 2 Chiefs, 3 Vikings, 4 Bills, and then 5 49ers. So, I mean, I definitely believe we can beat the Vikings. We did it last year.
Yeah.
And then in the playoffs a couple of years ago. So, they're definitely a team that I really think we can beat. The Dallas Cowboys. We beat them as well last year. The Eagles, they lost to Washington. So, I mean, there's a huge chance. And go 49ers.
Don't the Niners seem like a team that can beat anyone except for maybe Kansas City, but also can lose to anyone? I mean, they let the Chargers hang. That's what I think is so interesting about this team is like they play up to their competition, they play down to their competition. They're an enigma week to week. But maybe this week will be the week that they find themselves in Mexico.
Hopefully.
Thanks for calling in.
All right. Thank you.
Great call. Take care. Corey Davis, you ready? Corey Davis, are you ready?
Hey, how you doing, Drinko?
Good. How you doing?
Good. Now, I think I'm going up there to practice. There's only one question. It's cold where you at? But in Mexico City, they say it's like 70 degrees. So would that make a difference in their practice? I mean, they're playing a game.
I don't know. I think it's interesting. Like, how much can you really get accomplished in the cold, in the snow? Wouldn't it? I don't know. Like, so hold on. So you got the Arizona Cardinals who are practicing in Arizona where it's warm, and they're trying these elevation masks. And you got the Niners who are like, forget the temperature. Let's be all in with the altitude, but it's really cold. I guess we'll find out. It seems like the right thing to do would have just been to go to Mexico City if you trust your players to stay out of trouble, or at least trust your ability to police them.
Yeah. I like, you go up there, get used to the attitude, because it's totally different. Because I know when I go up in the high places, I can't breathe.
I did a workout this morning in the the hotel room, and I was like, I'm gonna do this and this and this, and after like 3 things, I'm like, I can't breathe. Sucks. So I stopped. I worked out for about 15 minutes. It was good though. I feel good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm wondering how we gonna, because McCoy he told them short passes, and that's help them win the games. And
it's funny. Like, I think a successful way to go against the Niners defense this year has been to throw screens. And this is what the Cardinals do. They're like a high school offense, frankly. They have no running game, but they kind of try to replace their running game with screens. And I mean, it works. It doesn't work inside the 10-yard line. It's the reason probably they don't score that much, but it gets them down the field. So I don't know. If the Niners lose to the Cardinals, I think we should all be like allowed to make fun of them for a week. Like that would be embarrassing.
Yeah.
You went to Colorado Springs to lose to the Cardinals? Come on. To Colt McCoy again? No. Can't happen. Humiliating.
Yeah.
So let's make sure it doesn't. Me and you, Corey.
Yep.
Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Richmond, California.
Nice. Cool. I'm from Oakland.
Yeah. Yeah, I went to the game last Sunday.
You have a good time?
Yep. Got to meet some players.
Who'd you meet?
Hufanga.
He's a nice guy.
Yep.
I like him. All right, Corey. It looks so. I wish I was in Richmond right now. You got the birds chirping. Is a nice blue sky behind you. Colorado is so cold. All right, man. I'll see you.
All right. See you later.
Peace. Gammon.
Hey, how's it going, brother? How you doing?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm ecstatic. I'm glad that my number was called here, so I'm pretty happy to be on here.
Absolutely.
Appreciate the opportunity. I just want to talk about a couple things real quick. So I think altitude for this game, and I just kind of I don't want to be a wet blanket for a lot of 49ers fans, but I can see the altitude potentially be in the Cardinals' favor. I think that the altitude could be for the Cardinals what inclement weather was for the Bears. I'm kind of glad that you brought up the point that you just said about you're working out in the hotel room. No, you're not a world-class athlete. Maybe you are. I know you did play multi-sport.
I'm pretty
right?
good.
Yeah, so
I'm pretty good. Yeah, 34.
You know, I don't want to have to walk that one back too quickly. But you did allude to it that it just the attrition, right, of kind of what you're experiencing there in that high altitude. Again, indoors in an environment that's, you know, air conditioning, everything like that. It felt like your physical exertion, you were putting a lot more stress on your body than typical, right?
I felt like I'm done. Like this is usually where I leave the gym in Oakland when I feel like this. It's like, man, it's been 3 exercises. It's crazy. Yeah.
Right. And so I want to do another thing. Shout out to all the military veterans out there who have served or are currently serving. I wasn't there for in Iraq, but I was there in Afghanistan. And I think that a lot of people who did fight anything in Afghanistan will say that and for anybody who's just living in California, never really left the state, never had to deal with high altitude, right? What Grant's kind of alluding to is that you can't just acclimate in a couple days, right, Grant? Like if you've been there for a couple days, you're not going to be performing as well in there as you were if you went back to California. So what the fans' takeaway from this needs to be is that the players are stressing themselves. So in that way, then they know like, okay, this 60-minute game is going to feel like an 80 or 90-minute game before it's done, before this game concludes. Yep. So what that also too means is that, you know, this is going to be a dink and dunk kind of game, right? Between McCoy and Colt McCoy and Jimmy Garoppolo. And this offensive style benefits 2 players, I think, the most. DeAndre Hopkins and George Kittle. DeAndre Hopkins may not play due to the hamstring, but I think he's going to try and get up for it. And then George Kittle, I'm really glad you asked that question to him and you posed that question to him. And he said, hey, it's not Kyle Shanahan. Like he went in there and was like, it's not like I go into Kyle Shanahan's office and demand that Jimmy throws me the ball. I take it up with the person it's not the play calling. It's like, hey, you know, I'm on one-on-one coverage. CMC, you're getting 2-man. Debo's getting 2-man. Brandon Ayuk's on 1-on-1. I'm in 1-on-1. Can I get that pass, that play, right? So he's taking it with who actually has control post snap, not pre snap. The other thing too is that our defense is really good with D'Amico Ryans because he can call up more kind of exotic blitzes and man-to-man zone. Man-to-man, or I'm sorry, not man-to-man zone, but man-to-man coverage. The defense is going to be a little more predictable because of the altitude. man-to-man coverage just forces that exertion already on you. On
Good
your
call.
body.
It's a lot of chasing. Yeah.
And you're
So expect more soft zone coverage. Although if DeAndre Hopkins doesn't play, man, Cardinals are a joke. They're such a joke. If DeAndre Hopkins doesn't play, they have zero chance.
I don't agree with that, Grant, and that's the other part too. Is I don't want to call.
Oh, they did beat the Niners without Hopkins or Murray last year. That really happened. Like it was less than a year ago. Okay, sorry about that. I forgot my history. I guess they have a chance.
They do, and I think the other thing that you brought up was that they do screens really well, right? So we don't, depending on who their quarterback is, even though Colt McCoy does do dink and dunks, by the time that these 49ers are in the third quarter, it's going to feel like they played 5 quarters already. So time of possession is going to be hugely important, and we've seen teams come back on the 49ers after a big lead was blown. This is kind of a shout out to D'Amico Ryans, not calling you out, but this is kind of a shout out to you. The wide receivers for the Cardinals are built like motorcycles. They go 0 to 60 in a blink of an eye. So even if we are up by 3 quarters, that could be a problem. Also, too, the other thing with all that speed that they have on the field to go vertically like that off the line of scrimmage is that we don't have very much speed in the safety position, right? We kind of saw that in the Chargers game with Gibson and Talanoa Hufanga getting, I don't want to say torched, because I try to talk on here as if I could see a player, and I don't want anybody calling on here. But with Jimmy Ward playing in the slot, that really kind of leaves our back end kind of bare as far as coverage speed that we probably desperately need. So if all of a sudden we see a bunch of big plays that happen because the ball kind of gets behind Ward, we know that Hufanga can't get back there.
Yeah. Gammon, I got to take some more calls.
Sorry.
Can you got any more? You got anything else?
Thank you for giving me the opportunity.
Appreciate it, man. Love you, dude. Have a good one. Just a second, Rolando. You're next. Then Wolf, Lizama, Niner Gang, Eugene, Manuel, Dennis. Hold on. Pete Ruiz says, every time Jimmy G drops back to pass, I am nervous and stressed. Could just imagine how Kyle Shanahan feels. Got a love-hate relationship with Jimmy G. Yeah, that's fair. He's not great or even that good. Sleepy 1414 says, did the political protest in Mexico City this past weekend influence the Niners' decision to practice in Colorado? I think they made these plans a very long time ago. Is what I heard that they were staying in Colorado Springs during training camp. They made these plans when the schedule came out. I think the Niners felt like they were beating the Cardinals to the punch by saying out here, which is funny. I don't think the Cardinals care. Antonio says the political protests are 2 separate things. It shouldn't matter the decision where to have practice. We had the F1 Grand Prix about 2 weeks ago. Besides, the protest didn't happen near a practice field. Yeah, and also they made these plans a long time ago. All right. Rolando, you good?
I'm good, man.
Driving?
What's happening? I'm driving. Yeah, I'm
What's
at
up, man?
work
How you
doing
doing?
a little work as I'm on.
All right, cool. But you're parked though, right?
I'm parked right
Parked?
now, my man. Yeah.
Cool. All right, sweet.
Hey, pretty good. Hey, so I'm actually about 2.5 hours south of you right now, down in San Luis Valley. You ever heard of the Great Sand Dunes National Monument?
No. Is that just southern Colorado?
Southern Colorado, yeah. We're actually about 20 minutes north of the New Mexico border, where I'm at right now.
Cool.
7,700 feet above sea level.
See, they could have been playing there.
Man, and then I could have had them over for dinner, maybe, give
That's
some
what I'm
suggestions
saying.
to Kyle, but yeah, I don't. If they were gonna do that, they could have went to New Mexico at least and had a little warmer weather, not had to deal with the cold if they wanted to go to higher elevation.
Interesting.
But,
Interesting. I've never been in this part of the country.
Better. Yeah, Albuquerque would have been better. It's a high elevation as well, not as high as Springs, I don't think, but I mean, you wouldn't have to deal with the cold or the snow.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Doesn't it feel like the cold and the snow defeats the purpose a little bit? Like, again, you're telling me you're doing all this so that you're fresh and ready for this tough environment, but you gave yourself an extra road trip and you had to practice for 3 days in the freezing cold. I'm exhausted and I didn't even practice. I'm tired, but I'm 34.
Man, you get tired here quick in this elevation.
Yeah.
With no oxygen, you get tired quick. And then add in the trips, the elevation of the flights, jet lag, all that. I hope it works out, man. I hope Kyle didn't outsmart himself on this one.
I just feel like
it's
going to be one of these games where, again, the only way the Niners lose is if they beat themselves. So by doing all this, it kind of increases the variance or the likelihood that something weird could happen because you mistrained, like you didn't prepare properly. I don't know. You have no experience preparing at altitude. Now you're going to do something you think you know what you're doing. All right. Arizona's like, we're just going to stay at home.
Right.
We're just gonna not go.
There's so many technological ways they could have done it, like Arizona with the elevation masks, save the rest. I don't know. I won't keep you too long, but man, I hope we win it. I hope we don't beat ourselves. And man, feed Juice the ball. Give my guy Juice the ball, man.
Old school
Juice,
Niner
well,
fans know that if Bill Walsh were the coach of this team, Juice would be getting a lot of touches. He would be a featured member. He'd be the offensive weapon they bill him as.
I'm 41 years old, so I watched that era of Bill Walsh and Montana. And that I'm an old dog. I remember that era, and they're to get back to that era would be, awesome.
Youngins, go back and look at how Tom Rathman was used. I was sitting next to him in the game, next to him at the game, the Chargers last week, and someone asked him, "Hey, is Juszczyk as good as you were?" And he goes, "Man, he's a way better athlete than I was." You hear that, Kyle? From Tom Rathman's mouth to your ears.
Yeah. I think Rathman was maybe more powerful, but as far as an athlete, Juice definitely a better athlete. Give him the ball,
straight up.
And your man Dwally, you got to hook up man Dwally, So like I said, hey, first time caller, I watch you guys all the time, man, I love you and your pops on the show. That's my favorite show to watch. I lost my pops about 11 years ago now, and just to see their relationship you guys have, keep it up, man. Cherish those times. You don't get them back. But hey, I want to give a shout out to my boys Adrian and Diego Garcia, 18 and 17 or 16. I'm sorry, 18 and 6. We watch you all the time, and man, they're like, man, that Grant Cohn, what's he say next? So
thanks, Rolando. Great to see you.
Hey, man, have a good one.
Call.
Be safe in Mexico City. Awesome place. Enjoy it.
I will. All right. Take care. That was the first shout out I think I've ever had on the show. The national soccer team is out. They could have used the facilities. Kyle took a huge L. Yeah, man. I think so. And I just feel like once the reports came out that it was going to be like the polar freaking vortex up here, Kyle could have called an audible. But you know what? He does an audible. No audibles in the Kyle Shanahan offense. Jimmy hasn't had a turnover in 2 games, 0.5 over-under on a Jimmy turnover this game. He's due, right? I don't think he's ever gone 3 games in a row without a turnover. You could check me on that. I don't think he's ever gone 3 games in a row. If you want the link, it's in the description. Homie, Wolf, Lizama, Niner Gang Wolfcast. What's up, man? Good to see you again.
Likewise, top of the morning, man. And
top of the morning.
I thought dude was going to come out and say, Mom, look, we made it. But I wanted to hear about a guy because I don't think I've heard your thoughts on it just yet. And, with Kinlaw and Armstead being out for so long, I thought if anybody was going to get this guy, it was going to be the Niners. So, Ndamukong Suh, can I get your thoughts on what's going on with that and the Eagles picking him up?
Yeah, another really smart move by the Eagles, who are doing like not splashy moves, but small moves to address weaknesses, whereas the Niners are doing pure splashy moves. And for a while, I think, hey, you could use another defensive tackle and a corner, but let's just talk defensive tackle. And they keep like holding on to the hope of Armstead and Kinlaw, like they held on to the hope of Jason Verrett. And I don't know. I guess we should expect Armstead to come back soon, right? They keep saying he will. The thing that's crazy about it is like he's not on the field. Samson Ebukam's hurt, and you see him out there. Kinlaw is on IR. You see him out there doing things, moving around, running. I never see Armstead, ever. Haven't seen him in weeks. I see him in the locker room. Haven't seen him on the field. So, again, I think the expectation should be that he should probably play next week against New Orleans. But that's what they're expecting, it seems. If it doesn't happen, you should have gotten Ndamukong Suh.
Right? Because, like, even in this last game, you saw Omenahu get banged up, and I got a little worried there too, man. And you got Ebukam out already, so very worrisome stuff. I don't understand why they didn't get Ndamukong Suh. But, the Cardinals, they're 32nd in yak allowed. So if this suits anybody more than anybody, I would assume it'd be the 49ers offense.
Say that stat again?
The Cardinals are allegedly 32nd in yak allowed. Yeah. So if you're gonna whoop on anybody, the Niners,
This is it.
This is your time, man. And
the Niners always stomp their divisional opponents. Like, come on, come on. Like, you don't have Mike McDaniel. Well, you probably have. Oh man, I mean, 10 different game plans that he put together against this Cardinals defense. Go back and look what he did, because frankly, what they did against the Rams a couple of weeks ago when they beat the Rams was just dust off the game plan from week 18 last year. With instead of the Debo touchdown pass, it was the McCaffrey touchdown pass. They were like just copying McDaniels. No, do it again. You can do it.
Yeah.
Can't do it against the Saints as much, but
different personnel. And Kyle Shanahan, get your head out of your ass and be more aggressive, man, because that's ridiculous, dude. You're not going for it on 4th and 1, stuff like that, man. But to top it off too, like, well, I think CMC is going to go off, man. Hopefully all these guys go off. There's no excuse. Kyle Shanahan, yourself, this is your time to show that you're the better team, man. The Cardinals look like shit, and you're supposed to be a contender. So this is where you smash them out and let the league know what's going on. But shout out to J-Nay for all the stuff that came out with his screenshots of Trent Williams, man. That's ridiculous stuff. Like I've told a lot of people I played college football, and I went away from that for boxing, but you can't be tipping plays, man. Like, this is stuff I was aware of when I was in college, and I wasn't coached up on it. It's just like an advantage in the NFL. There's such a small margin for error as it is, and stuff is so competitive that you can't be tipping stuff off like this, man. I don't care.
And if the team has all this talent and it's 18th in points per game, you can't discount this as being a contributing factor for why the Niners are underperforming.
Like you said, actually, because I think it was you that said it. It may not be hurting, but it's not helping. So
it certainly isn't helping. Absolutely not.
I appreciate you.
Great call, man.
Take care, bro.
Appreciate you too, man. Good to see you.
Yep.
RS says, someone said I didn't answer the question. Over. I'm going over. I'm not betting on Jimmy to break his streak. Grant, ask Kinlaw to keep you warm. Haha. To Kinlaw's credit, he's not here. I'm jealous. They didn't bring him on this trip because, the swelling and stuff. So he got to stay home. Not that I'm not complaining. I like doing this, but like, I'm sure Kinlaw's drinking cocoa right now, feeling great. I wish I was drinking cocoa. Niner gang, you're not driving, are you?
Nah, I'm not driving.
All right, cool. What's up?
Just a couple things. First, long-time listener, big fan. Second, I don't understand why everybody's saying that this isn't a big deal with the whole Trent Williams thing. Like, then what's the point of doing play action, right? Like, you're trying to trick the defense to think you're running, right? Like, it sucks up the linebackers and sucks up the safeties. Then how's that not a big deal? Like, and then,
why don't you just go to the line of scrimmage and be like, "Hey, we're running." Just tell them. We're going to line. Hey, exactly. We're running. Just want you to know, we're so much better than you. It doesn't matter. Yeah.
Like, the 49ers play action has been whacked this whole year. It's because you got linebackers just screaming through, and it's just like, I wonder why, because they're not really worried about the run. I don't know. Just
or someone's tipping him off.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that'd be great.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good question. Everyone's like, what happened to play action? Well, it's built on deception. And right now, there may be no deception in the Niners offense. Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. Cool. All right, man. Thanks for having me on.
Good call. Thanks for calling in. That was good. Eugene, if you want to come on the show, turn on your camera. That's my new rule. I got to see your face. We got to talk face to face. What's up, Eugene? How you doing?
What's up, man? Doing good. How about you?
Been a long time, man. Good to see you.
Yeah, football just ended for me, so now I'm free.
Nice. Real quick, we got Manuel, Dennis, Bree, and Daniel after this. I just want to keep them. I don't want to go away. They're in the queue. All right, Eugene, what's up?
So, man, I've been hearing a lot about the Trent Williams, the tip-off. I also played left tackle, and I watched a lot of Trent Williams film because, he's the best tackle. I'm trying to get his stance down. One thing I noticed he's not doing, he's tipping plays, but he always changed his stance like that. And because he was always changing his stance from out wide with his foot back and then his 2 feet closer together, like in a run block, he's done that. But the difference now, he's only doing it on run and pass. He's not mixing it up like he has.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay.
And that's just.
I mean, look, if you want to do like left foot back on 3rd and 7, yeah, by all means. If you want to have your feet parallel on 1st and 10, yeah, of course. It's just when like you start doing staggered stance on 1st and 10 and it's a pass, like that's a problem. if that's happening. And I guess we'll be watching very closely on Monday night.
Yeah, this will be closely, but just seeing that kind of footwork is like, is Trent Williams kind of, I don't know, like is he maybe checked out? He's what, like 34?
It seems
30.
sloppy and beneath him, right?
Yeah,
you're the best. Why are you doing this? It's right. But you know what's interesting? Like, I got some history for you. You remember after the Niners lost the Super Bowl, Frank Clark posted a thing on Twitter or something, maybe Instagram, saying, "Hey, my agent told me that Joe Staley was tipping his plays based on his stance." And he laid out the whole thing. When Staley's in a three-point stance, when he's like this. And he had the whole thing duped out. So maybe this is sort of like a Niners quality control issue that's been going on. And some teams know about it. And it's the secret. Maybe. Go back and look that up. Frank Clark calls out Joe Staley for tipping plays in the Super Bowl. That was 3 years ago. And Joe's great too. Anyway, look it up. Google it. Google it.
Really?
Google it.
Yep,
I promise.
We have the same offensive line coordinator coach as that, right?
Forster. Maybe it's on him.
I think he's been doing a pretty good
job. Hey, he
job
talks today too.
What?
He talks today too. You know what sucks is that none of the other beat writers are going to ask about this. I have to ask about it, and they look like they put this look on their face like I farted. Like, hey man, we got to ask about this, and you guys don't. All right. Anyway, Eugene, I got to take more calls. Good to see you.
Good to see you too, man. Take care.
I didn't fart. It wasn't me. Manuel, what's up?
That was hilarious, Grant.
Thanks.
Hey, first time caller, man. Thanks. I'm a big fan.
Oh, thanks.
And I got 1,000,000 points, but you got 1,000,000 calls, so let's just go at it. Armstead. I want to talk about him. All right, that's it. That's for me.
Fair.
Kittle. I saw you ask that question yesterday, right? It was yesterday?
Yeah.
And dude, he said, I didn't go to Shanahan's office. Great. But I'm on the sideline talking to, Jimmy.
Yeah.
Hey, throw me the ball. I'm open.
Yeah.
We know what the problem is. It's a little bit of both, but I blame more Jimmy because he doesn't see the open player. Anyways.
It's just crazy that Kittle is so BFFs with Jimmy, but maybe he's not. Maybe Kittle's just smart and he's like, that's the quarterback, and if I want the ball, I got to be his friend. But even doing that and being his friend isn't getting him the ball. So maybe he has to try something else.
He does.
You know what I'm saying?
And he's very politically correct.
Hey, I'll go with him to the Warriors game and he'll throw me the ball. Like, nope.
Right. And then if you go back to the offseason, I can't wait for this kid, Trey Lance, and blah, 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 big old arm. Georgie, he's cool. He's got his thing. I'm like, come on, dude. Seriously. But anyways, other than that, I just want to tell you, you do have a great football IQ, man.
Thank you.
I mean, these coaches, these players, they see you, they respect you, they know what's up. And that's the bottom line, man. You're doing a great job. Keep asking those tough questions because nobody else is doing it, and that makes you, legitimate, in my opinion.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. That was nice.
Yep.
Have a go, man. Dennis McCray.
What's happening?
How you doing, man?
Nah, I'm good. Yeah, man. Like he was saying, man, I'm glad you asked those questions, man, because if I was a reporter, I would definitely be on Kyle's line every time I get a chance to talk to him about, something that I've seen or that everybody.
If he was 8 or if he was 9-0, I'd leave him alone. But you're 5-4. Like, come on, man. We're just gonna talk like you're great because you won 2 games in a row. No.
Hell nah. I'll be on his line all the time. Forget that. You know what I'm saying? I'll be on his line all the time, bro. Because it's like a lot of stuff that happens. You feel me? And like I don't know. I don't think he should be a head coach. You know what I'm saying? Coordinator, all right, cool. You know what I mean? Whatever. But it seems like it's too much on his plate. You know what I mean? For everything. You know what I mean? To see everything, call the plays, make a good game plan for Jimmy because we know how garbage he is. You know what I mean?
Look at them right. They're in the snow. They're in the snow for no reason. Meanwhile, the Cardinals are like, that looks kind of stupid. Ooh, have a good time over there. We're just gonna stay right. How did you get here? Why are we here? Ridiculous. I'm sorry.
Right, yeah. And you're playing in Mexico, like, bro, that's you feel me? That's 2 ends of the spectrum. Like, come on, bro. Like, what do you ain't going to Green Bay, like, you feel me? You ain't going to Denver, you ain't going to, you know what I mean? Like, what's up with this dude, man?
Silly.
And then,
just like the attention to detail. So you're preparing for a hot weather game in the cold. You got your left tackle tipping plays and you don't even know it. Where's the attention to detail on this team?
Right. And then I wanted to also comment on the offense. You know what I mean? Like, I kind of fault him for that, but I kind of don't, just because he knows Jimmy. He knows what Jimmy can do. He knows what Jimmy can't do. He knows what Jimmy will do and what Jimmy won't do. You know what I'm saying? Like, Jimmy's not going to push that ball down the field. He's not even going to look to push the ball down the field. You know what I mean? So
but hold on.
So he's not even gonna
I feel like the original. So if you go back to 2019, Kyle didn't necessarily take the ball out of Jimmy's hands. There were games down the stretch where they passed a lot, but then they had that terrible first playoff game against the Vikings, and ever since then, Kyle's been like, "I don't trust you at all. We're running the ball." Well, fine, fair. Jimmy's thrown a lot of picks, but not this season. So there isn't that like built-in excuse to be super freaking conservative on offense while you got all these great weapons in the passing game. So Kyle, I mean, to me, McCaffrey is a receiver. You got to throw these passes.
Yeah, and that's the irritating part, bro. Because like you said, we got all these freaking weapons, and we should be like lighting it up, man. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
18, 20, what are we doing, bro? Is this high school football? Like, what are we doing?
They scored 22 in this game, but the only reason it wasn't 19 was because they pinned him at the 1, and then they turned the ball over on downs at the 10-yard line. The Niners got the ball like late. It's like that offense was terrible in that game. 13 points when the fourth quarter started.
Bro, I was gonna say I was at work. I was watching that game, and I seen how they got to the goal line, and then he called like some dumbass play where he had put Jimmy in shotgun. I'm like, what the hell are you doing? Like, what's use check for? Like, ram that thing in there. Like, what are you doing?
Right.
Like, you're
inside the 10, and that's what you have the best fullback in the league for, right? That's why you have him, right? But no, you're spreading it out.
You got Juszczyk, you got CMC, Elijah Mitchell's back, you got the
Debo,
Jordan Mason, you got Debo, you got like all these things you could do, but you're gonna put Jimmy in the freaking shotgun. Like, come on, bro. Like, that's ridiculous, bro. Like, get out of here with that trash. You know what I mean? And then
I appreciate you, man.
The last thing I want to say is, even if he is going to push the ball down the field, where the hell is Danny Gray? Where the hell is he? What? Like,
dude, Danny Gray injured his ankle in warm-ups 2 weeks ago, unless that was a lie. I've never heard of a player doing that. So Danny Gray either can't get out of his own way or the coaches are burying him and making him look bad. I don't know, one of the two. He looked good in training camp when Trey Lance was playing. He looked good in preseason when Trey Lance was playing. All of a sudden he sucks? I don't know.
Like E40 say, man, if it was a fifth, we all be drunk. Get out of here with that bullshit. You know what I'm saying? All right, man. I'm gone, man.
Good stuff, Dennis, man. All right, man. Great call. Good to see you.
Yep.
Later. Bree, you were next. And then E49er, Irv Gotti, Andrew R., Real Room Service. Doing as much as I can today. Is it Bree or Bray?
Bree.
Bree, cool, man. Nice to meet you.
What up, Greg? Hey, man. Hey, I'm really excited
to
be on the show, man. Hey, fun fact, I actually took today off just to get on the Cohn, man. I definitely did.
You saw that it was going to be like midday on a Friday? Like, hey, sorry, I'm sick.
Yeah.
I don't feel right.
Because I'm in this group in Facebook with Michael Miller. He's been on your show a few times, man.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Here, and I'm like, dude, I got to get on there. Definitely, man. So, and he's just as grumpy as person as he is online.
Yeah, I love that dude.
Hey, I love it to death, man. But look, hey, so what I wanted to say is that as far as the Niners team goes, man, it's kind of like watching a fireworks show, right? Like, you have like a bunch of fireworks going up, and then you have this finale. And I say that because, of course, we do have players taking off. And if you think about like last year, what happened? Debo had said, we're going to make a run, right? And then they made a run. And I think it's not something that the players actually decided. I honestly think that Kyle Shanahan is telling them to pace themselves, because it's a long season. He has said that before, in plenty of press conferences. So I just think that, the Niners actually show up for the Sunday night games, the Monday night games, and the Thursday night games. All the primetime games, they show up in the playoffs. So other than that, you'll have maybe one or two studs that, that show out for the game, because you see there's a lot of unsung heroes in all of the games that we played this season.
Good call. Yeah, this seems like the kind of game the Niners get up for. Monday night game, division opponent, know them well. It would be so embarrassing to lose.
Oh my God. Yeah.
It'd be so embarrassing.
Yeah, we can't.
Yeah.
We definitely can't lose to. I honestly think that we're going to sweep the division. I don't think that we're going to lose to a division opponent, and I honestly think that has to be key. We have to.
When the Niners lost to Atlanta, no one talked about it. It happened early in the day. It wasn't a national televised game. The national TV people were like, "That didn't happen. That didn't happen." And so if this one happens, like no one can ignore it. People will be talking about this for a long time.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think they should win.
Yeah, exactly, man. I can, and I think that honestly we do need to use Juice more. We honestly, Kittle still has a lot in the tank, man, and he needs to be used more as well. But I honestly like Ross Dwelly instead of Juice. Dwelly goes out there, man. He gets 110%, and he can catch that deep ball that he throws out there. So,
Dwelly's hungry.
Yeah,
Juszczyk is part of the. There's two groups of players on this team. Yeah. There's the inner clique that everyone has either they go by their first name or their nickname, and then there's the group of people that haven't been rewarded financially, and they all go by their last name. Dwelly,
right?
Mitchell, Jennings. They're anonymous, but Juice and you know what I mean, and Kyle and Jimmy G, like these guys are all in a whole different stratosphere on this team. But frankly, guys that go by the last names are the one that are carrying this team a lot of the time.
Yeah,
the anonymous last name guys.
Yeah, definitely, man. I love the addition to CMC. I hated that we didn't get Dominican Suit, man, because we do not know when Eric Armstead is coming back. I've been watching like a lot of things, and I haven't seen him out there practicing at all, and so I don't know when he's going to come back. But what a lot of people are saying that he's washed up. But what they don't understand or what they don't remember is that in the championship game, he gave us fits, man. Sue gave us fits in the national in the championship game, man. So we definitely got to look out for him because I honestly think that it's going to be an Eagles Niners championship game. So at Lincoln Financial,
love it, man.
All right, so
love it, man.
Yeah, man. Hey, but I don't want to be on here too long, man. I know the show's about to end, and I just want to say go Niners, man. And we're looking forward to you and your debate with Raj from RS 49ers, man.
Absolutely, man. We'll do it soon. I just been busy, but I'll look through my DMs to see if he hit me up. Or I'll hit him up.
Yeah, he said he did. He said he did on his IG Live. He said he emailed you and sent you a DM.
All right, I'll find it then.
All
right, man.
Thanks, man. Love you, man.
Peace. See you, man. E49er. What's up?
What's up,
going
Brad,
on,
man? How you doing?
I'm good, man. You playing Madden?
I was.
No, what is that?
My daughter's sick, so my wife got the day off yesterday. So I said, you know what? Let me stay with her today. So I'm gonna chill with her today. Getting a little mad, man. I haven't got on yet, but as you can see, it's getting ready.
I feel you.
I seen you having your show though, man. I was like, yo, let me see if I can get back on here and give them some more of this Yay Area ism and see what's going on under. You got it up? You feel me?
Where you calling from?
I'm from the town. We talked before. We had the Andrew Trey Lance conversation.
Oh yeah, that's right. It's been a minute. That's been a minute. All right, man. What's on your mind today?
Now, man, first I want to just congratulate you, man. I see you doing big things, and I'm just super crazy to see you moving up like that.
Appreciate it.
Also, I want to talk about that offensive line because me and you were kind of going. We were on opposite ends on that offensive line. The last time we talked, you told me you were talking. You thought it was going to be a horrible offensive line, but I kind of told you I was like, "Yo, there's not that many great offensive lines. All you need to do is a little something." And we also talked about the Rams. There was a couple of Rams fans in there that were killing me because I told you I was like, "Yo, their offensive line was horrible last year, and their offensive line is going to be horrible again this year." And
you're right. It's even worse. It's even worse. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, man. Just wanted to just bring that up, and I really hope that Trey gets back, man. I really would like to see Trey play. I know a lot of people are like, "Oh, Jimmy, yeah, wait until he spills the milk. Just wait." Wait until he spills the milk, and then you're gonna be saying
this was happening last year, mid-November. Last year, everyone's like, "Is this the best Jimmy Garoppolo has ever played?" Jimmy Garoppolo may have turned a corner, and then he goes to Tennessee, poops the bed, and John Lynch is like, "Can we leave him in Tennessee? Can we leave him in Nashville, please?" I didn't mean to say that.
Yeah, right, John. Right, John. Even the year after that, remember when it was like we couldn't do nothing? We're playing the Saints, or the year before that when we won the Super Bowl, we're playing the Saints, and he just looks like crap. And then Kyle just takes the ball out of his hand for the rest of the year. He's like, "Yo, we're just running."
Jimmy's Cinderella. Jimmy Cinderella. You know, it might look great at 11 o'clock, but at midnight, you know what's going to happen.
Yeah,
it's not going to. Yeah.
You know, like he's doing as good as he's ever been. He's been playing as good as we've probably ever seen him play, right? Which means he might start doing as bad as we've ever seen him.
Because it's not like he's a great quarterback. Like, so if he has good stretches, he usually evens it out, and it all kind of evens out at mediocrity plus.
I like Jimmy. I just love my Niners. Me too. I love my Niners, and if you're just and I got
it's nothing personal. It's nothing personal.
You gotta keep it real. I remember when we had bad.
It's not a family. It's not a family.
No,
it's not. Some football fans treat it like that. Like, no, you don't know them, and they'll be playing for another team in a few years. This is about what's best for the Niners.
I have like family members that get mad because when I talk about the Niners, I'm one of those people that say, "Oh, us, my team," and they're always like, "Well, why do you say that?" And I kind of just showed on to because I've been here before longer than most of these players have. I have put so much money in jerseys, ticket prices, and all this other stuff. Like mine, yes.
Let me ask you a question. How old are you?
I am 35.
Okay, so you're my age. Yeah. So that explains why you're not a Raider fan. Like, I was a Niner fan growing up. The Raiders weren't here when we were 6, 7. They weren't. They were in LA.
Mine was a little bit different. My grandparents, and literally in 94, my grandparents, my grandpa was a Cowboys fan. My grandma was a 49ers fan. They made me sit down and watch the NFC Championship game. And they told me, whoever wins, that's going to be your team. And I stood solid.
That's hella funny.
Yeah,
that's so funny, man. I love that. It really
is. Yeah,
I love that. All right, man. I got to keep it moving, but it's great to see you, dude.
All right, you have a good one.
All right, take care.
Peace.
All right. Irv Gotti, then Andrew, then Winter, then Real Room Service. I'm getting through a hell of them today. Irv Gotti.
Hey, what's up? Can you hear me?
Isn't Irv Gotti the dude who ran Murder Inc. and was like managing Ashanti and Ja Rule? Good to see you, man. It's been a long time. Good to see you.
Hey, man, what's up? Hey, I have just a shout out for you first and foremost. You're the necessary evil, man. You're the Deadpool in the MCU. You're the gravy at Thanksgiving. So
I like Deadpool. I appreciate
doing your thing, bro.
Thank you.
Put that pressure on Kyle because he needs it. Nobody else keeps him legit other than you.
That's what I do.
Real quick. I just want to know, what are your thoughts on the shotgun offense? I think we looked okay in it with San Diego, and also the leadership. Like, is Jimmy a leader? Like that? I mean, I've been ever since he made that comment. I don't know, man. I don't call the plays. That should just rub me the wrong way. Like, what do you mean, bro? Like, you're out there still executing. Like, you got to be a leader and like tell Shanny, like, hey, we ain't running that.
I feel like there's a lack of accountability and leadership from Jed York down. Jed York sets the tone, and it trickles down to Kyle and all the people who make more money than Kyle in the organization. It's never their fault. The only people that really take accountability are players like Talanoa Hufanga or guys who haven't gotten paid yet who are trying to sell themselves to the organization as super professional. You know, all that kind of stuff. IU goes to every practice. And then all of a sudden you're like a made man and it's never your fault. You're above reproach because that's how Kyle is. Kyle's never made a mistake. It's never his fault. It's never Jed's fault. So you just keep passing it down till someone doesn't have enough clout to pass it further. Has to take it. That's the Niners.
That's fair enough.
I love
it.
Yeah.
But yeah, and the shotgun question, what do you think? You see us doing
the shotgun question.
Shotgun packages?
I think they need to, because this season it seems to be working a lot better than the under center stuff. Maybe it's because Trent Williams is tipping plays. I don't know. But
yeah, play action is dead. Like,
there's no play action, so why are you under center? If there's no play action, being under center doesn't help you. I mean, your drop back passing game from under center sucks. Your running game from under center isn't working because there's no companion play action off of it. So just get in the shotgun, let Jimmy, quickly distribute the ball with his quick release and do the best you can. I think that's the best you can do.
Somewhere. All right.
Yeah, man. And then when Trey comes back, you can get back under center. But right now, this is the best you can do with this team. And it seems pretty good. Look at the numbers when they're in shotgun. It's really good. Now, they still aren't scoring points one way or another. That's the problem. They can move the ball. I mean, it's a points thing.
Yeah.
They move the ball
against San Diego, and we're in shotgun. I'm like, what are we doing in shotgun? And then I see
in the goal line.
I'm like, that's what we're doing. Okay.
Right. The problem is, does that work in the goal line, or do you need to get under center and power C, and then so they got to figure it out. Irv, say hello to Ashanti for me, Ja Rule, all of them.
I got to.
All right. Take care. All right. Andrew R. What's up, man?
Hey, how you doing?
You calling from Colorado?
I sure am.
Nice. Well,
yeah. So
what's on your mind?
I actually live just north of the Air Force Academy by about 5 miles.
Oh, cool.
So I actually live feet higher than the practice fields that they're working on now, and that's actually what I wanted to talk about. So, the Army brought me here when I was in the service back in 2006, and I've lived here ever since. And one thing I dealt with from an athletic standpoint was running in the cold at high altitude. And what I dealt with personally, even being in great shape at that point, was cold-induced asthma, which I don't have asthma, and then subsequent bronchitis. So I'm wondering, like, if this gamble of them practicing yesterday in the cold could be a big problem for some of the players. Not all of them, but some of them.
Or just one. Or just if it's just one. You know what I mean? It's 53 guys. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's a good point.
It could impact a big player. And I'm talking about this from a personal standpoint. So I'm kind of glad they're going to be in Fieldhouse today. They're going to be out of the snow because there is coverage out here today.
Yeah.
But it's still like, for me, every time I got this cold-induced bronchitis from out there running in the snow and ice, you know, in 10-degree weather like we have today, I would get bronchitis like on cliff. So I'm hoping this doesn't affect players here on Sunday. But it was a good gamble in terms of acclimatization, but
Right.
it can affect the wrong players. So I'm wondering what your thoughts
Right,
are.
and to your point, there's totally different body types on this team. I mean, you got the wide receivers, you got the offensive lineman, the defensive lineman. One person could react differently or be prone to something like that. Very interesting. Something to watch for. It does feel like a big risk the Niners didn't have to take for a negligible game. I don't know. How much can you really acclimate to this level of altitude in 6 days and 3 practices?
You can. It takes months, even at a high athletic level, and that's why the Olympic trainers who come here to the Olympic Center are typically here for 30 to 90 days when they're going through a training regimen. So that's something to also consider.
Another thing, from what I haven't done a ton of research, but what I've heard out here, the conversations I've had, those people that seriously train out here and they do it for more than a week, they don't just go full bore right away. They kind of gradually get into it. And if the Niners are doing exactly what they would do at home up here, that might be a mistake.
They're also going to have to deal with turf today. We've had problems with turf with our players already.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure what the turf in the Fieldhouse facility is like, but if they don't dial it back, and I know Kyle said he probably wouldn't dial it back yesterday in your guys' presser, we might see injuries today. We were lucky we didn't have any yesterday.
Well, today is the big day. I don't know if Niner fans know this, but Thursday is a very strenuous practice day for the 49ers. Former players have talked about it a lot. They wear pads, and they are on the field for a very long time. We go out, they show us the first 25 minutes, then we go into the media room and wait for like another hour and a half for D'Amico Ryans to come out and talk. They're out there for at least 2 hours, and now they're going to be doing it in, 15-degree weather? Be careful. Hey, if you were running this team, what would you have done to prepare for this game?
In terms of altitude?
I mean, look, Arizona is not doing anything other than these masks that they've been wearing while doing cardio for the last 3 weeks. Like, would you have done less, more, something different?
This was a big gamble, to be honest. And I honestly think, barring that someone doesn't have problems with their lungs, it could pay off really big. I mean, because what the cold can do for some people is it'll restrict your bronchial tubes on top of having to deal with the altitude. And so when they get to high altitude and then also warm weather, these guys may be supercharged and not as gassed. They're still going to be gassed.
Interesting.
They're fully acclimated. But it could pay big dividends. And you'll see it in explosive plays. I think that's where we're really going to see it on Monday. So it'll be something to look forward to seeing. But there's no saying until the game actually happens, and then, God forbid the game plan falls apart like it always does. But we'll see.
I love your cynicism, man. You're a great. Call it anytime. All right, Andrew. For short, got you. Winter Williams, then Real Room Service, then Kenny. Kenny, I know you're pulled over. I'll get to you quick.
Hey, Grant, how's it going? Can you
Winter
hear me?
Williams. Wow, man, you got a nice backdrop. I like it. It's nice.
Oh, this is my office. Yeah, this is
nice. I like it very much.
Dude. It's nice. Thank
cool.
you. Thank you.
Nice.
I had a couple concerns I wanted to talk to you about. I had two specifically.
Concerns? The Niners are 5-4. Everything's okay.
Dude,
What are you talking about?
They're sub 500. That's crazy. How's it going, Jason? So my first question being, why does the fan base have so much confidence in this team when every time we've gotten to that peak, every time we needed to surpass an obstacle, they fail every time. And then go ahead. Sorry.
I think part of it is that the media hypes up the Niners endlessly. And I think the Niners, some fans take the cues from the national and local media. Like the Niners are a very lucrative brand with a huge fan base. And when the fans are engaged, just because there's hope that the team might be good, everyone eats. Everyone profits locally, nationally. Sure. Like, no one cares about the Rams. No one cares about the Chargers. No one cares about the Cardinals. But when the Niners, they don't even have to be good. But if they have potential, everyone eats. So I think sometimes Niner fans fall into that, like, hey, well, NFL Network says we're the scariest team in the league. Like, hey, man, they're using you. They just want your clicks, dude. They just want your clicks. They're using you, yeah. But I feel like the people that watch this show kind of see through that. You know what I mean? They see through the hype. Sure. The Niners are a hype machine. Like Dallas. Dallas is a hype machine. Everyone talks about Dallas on television all the time. All they have to do is be relevant and have a chance to be good. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of the Niners right now. They're a hype machine. They're a conversation starter.
Oh, for sure. No, for sure. My next concern really is like the alienation of Trey Lance, right? Mm-hmm. It's not just that he's injured. He's not just injured. No, when you have an injured starting quarterback, he's all over the news. He's all over the press coverages. Mm-hmm. Trey Lance is invisible, And I think
saw him yesterday. I ran into Trey Lance yesterday. I ran into so I was at the Air Force Academy and I was like, where's the bathroom? And they were like, oh, okay, so it's not really around here, but if you go down that highway, hallway and then turn to left and then turn to right and then go to this one room and ask them nicely and use a secret word, they might let you use the bathroom. So I was doing that and all of a sudden I went around the corner and boom, Trey Lance walks like right into me. I'm like, oh, what's up, Trey? And he says, hey, how's it going? And then we did fist bumps, knuckles, and then he walked and then I kept walking. That was the whole story. It was great. He looked great. From that limited interaction, I would say that he'll be ready to be back on the field in 3 weeks.
No, that's definitely ideal, having him ready for playoffs. I mean, personally, I like Jimmy G, but we should give Trey Lance as many snaps as possible at this point. He's 3 years. He's going to be going into year 3 with 5 games under his belt, 120 passes. That's rough.
No. They're 5-4. Okay, this is a Super Bowl team. We can't talk about Trey Lance.
You're right.
Sorry. Yeah.
the future is only in February. And then I think my biggest issue with his alienation is the fact that the management is almost supportive of it, right? They don't talk about, hey, guys, we're struggling right now, but next year we have a great quarterback coming in. We have a great future ahead of us. Our goal right now is to just get as far as we can, but our real goal is our 5-year plan, like any successful business.
Yeah, right. 5-year plan. Doesn't it feel like the Niners really have like a week-to-week plan and they're afraid to talk about anything beyond this week? Do you think they really know who their quarterback's going to be next year? I don't think they know. They don't know who their quarterback's going to be next year. They'll see.
I have concerns that it's not Trey Lance. I have concerns that he's not going to be on the roster next year. I hope he is. I really do.
I think they want it to be Trey, but they're not talking about it, so that kind of leaves the door open for something to happen.
Sure. Yeah,
good stuff,
for
Winter.
Sure. No, for sure.
Thanks
Thank
for
you,
calling
Grant.
in, man.
Appreciate it.
All right.
Have a big fan. You have a good day. You have a good day.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Sorry, I'm speeding people through. I got to check out at the top of the hour, so I'm going to stop the show in 20 minutes. So let's get as many people in as possible, but at the same time, what you got to say. Real room service.
Hey,
what's up?
What's going on, Grant, man? I've been watching your show for like the last couple of years, my guy. So it's just real nice to even talk to you. So,
well, I already know that you're a pro because you got a great backdrop. You got great audio. So I'm just honored to have you on the show, man.
My podcast alone has a lot to do with you. Like you kind of inspired me to even get started.
Thank you.
Your flowers first there. Second,
thank you.
We're on your show, so that we see through the BS because you see through.
That's the whole point. That's the whole point.
So that's the whole point. That's why we're here.
Yeah.
But I wanted to touch on George Kittle. I love the fact that you asked him in the presser about his touches, and he said,
"Fair question, right?"
In his own words, he was like, "Okay, well, I haven't went into Kyle Shanahan's office. To me, in a presser, you were better off going into the office if you're gonna let people like me talk about it on the internet."
Right.
To me, he was better off just saying it to Kyle behind closed doors, because to me, Jimmy is not the quarterback that's going to get it done for him.
No.
For him to get the ball.
No.
Jimmy,
you know, Debo goes into Kyle's offense remember that story? Debo goes into Kyle's office every day just to talk. You think that's because he really likes Kyle, or you think it's because he's smart?
I think it's because he's a little intelligent.
I think it's because he's really smart. And so, Kittle, man, I think you're smart too. Jimmy's not the guy to talk to. You got to go above Jimmy in this hierarchy.
Yes. And I love the fact that Jimmy's hanging out with Kittle and all those things. But I mean, he's definitely not hanging out with him in the offseason. We know that.
Doesn't return his text. So how good of a friend is he really, George?
How possibly could he be? But it's all right. Trey Lance is walking now. I love the fact that you give him this. I'm a huge Trey Lance fan, by the way. I was at the game when he got injured. It was terrible. I was yelling at fans because I knew they would cheer. I knew they would cheer for Jimmy. So I was yelling at all the fans, just pissed off because that's a teammate at the end of the day. And
he's a lot like the second coming of Alex Smith, just not physically, just in terms of how quickly the fan base turned on him. We don't want you. Like,
instant.
Dude, you haven't given me. I've started 4 games, yo. Like, can you chill? But it's like, oh, Aaron Rodgers or Justin Fields or Jimmy. It's like, you guys are ridiculous, man. Give him a chance.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
But that was all one.
Bears fans were patient with Justin Fields. Their patience has been rewarded.
It has been.
It has. Funny how that goes.
Nightmare.
Yeah, and same thing with the Eagles and Hurts and the Bills. You got to be paid. If you want a great quarterback, you got to trust the process. And the Niners haven't.
And they got to commit. They have to commit to him 100% on all levels and just.
And you know what that means?
Getting
Jimmy out of it means getting Jimmy out of the freaking building when it's time to start Trey.
Next year can't come fast enough because I know when that moment comes and we're in that playoff situation, and I gotta rely on Jimmy because Cal only had first half of plays scheduled out. Then I'm gonna be like, okay, it's time to show up, which he never does, or he's gonna give it to CMC or Elijah Mitchell. But do you think Elijah Mitchell is a better running back at the end of the game when it comes to getting those tough yardage? That's what I really want to ask you.
I think he's a powerful running back for a littler guy with speed. I don't think McCaffrey's particularly powerful. He's really good though, and I think if Bill Walsh were the coach, they'd be throwing to McCaffrey left and right, and he'd be a really, really dangerous weapon as a receiver. But as a running back, I think he's good, but there's like some runs he's better at than others. You want him getting outside. I think like his whole running game in Carolina was the zone read with Cam Newton. Now you're like, okay, so the quarterback is not a factor.
Right.
It's just get under center and pitch the ball left and right to McCaffrey. I don't like using him that way. Like I'd rather use Mitchell in that role.
Yeah, to me.
Now next year with Trey Lance, the two of them might be real deadly on that zone read.
That's what I'm hoping for.
That's what
I'm hoping for.
Yes.
McCaffrey, to me, he's smaller, so he can get out to those outsides a little bit better. He's a great playmaker. And to me, when he first got to the team, I say he was the second best playmaker on the team. But I don't know. The way Debo's season been going, he might be the number 1. But my favorite receiver, period.
I was going to say Ayuk, but then he fumbled and dropped. So Ayuk needs to get back.
I've been on Ayuk's high horse for like the last 2 years, trying to let people know that this is the best wide receiver on the team. Because the
Niners are going to mess around and not extend his contract, and he's going to go somewhere else.
That's going to hurt my heart.
He's going to be the next DeForest. I'm afraid he's going to be the next DeForest Buckner, and they're going to talk themselves out of him, and he's going to go somewhere with a legit top 5 quarterback.
Or something. Killing.
Oh, yeah.
Killing. That's how I really feel. But
hey, man, let's collaborate. I'll go on your channel, man. I like what you're doing. Okay, if you want to work together, let's do something sometime. Hit me up.
That would be awesome, man. I'll definitely hit you up, and we can get something going.
Grant Cohn at Gmail. Hit me up. Let's do something.
All right, man. I got you.
Man. Good stuff. All right. For sure. Kenny.
What's good, man?
How you doing, man?
From Virginia. This is my guy. This is Montana.
Montana?
Montana.
Yeah. Montana. I love it.
Yeah, real quick, man. I just want to go ahead over to Montana. Why do you think Kyle is so afraid to go for it? Like when we're like 4th and 1, 4th and 2, go for it. If you're gonna run our CMC through the tackles, which is not smart, why are you so afraid to just go for it?
Right, because first drive of the game against the Chargers, they drive easily to the 2-yard line, and then on 4th and 2, they kick a field goal. To me, it's beyond conservative. It's not smart because anyone that's played Madden knows if you don't get the touchdown on 4th and 2, that putting the team at the 2-yard line, you want that. you could score a touchdown, you could score a safety, or even if none of that happens, you could just force a punt and get the ball right back in field goal position in like 2 minutes. So you've added all this talent to your offense, and you still want to win with your defense? Why? And special teams.
Oh, listen.
Why?
I feel like if Hufanga would have played last year instead of Tart, we would have been in the Super Bowl.
They might have won the Super Bowl.
Oh my gosh.
They might have won the Super Bowl. Yeah.
This is the last thing, man, because this hurts my heart. How didn't we know about that Namakasu trade? Do you know what?
No, he was a free agent. He was a free agent. They could have signed him.
When I first saw it yesterday, I was like, please. I thought it was like a meme. I was like, please let this not be like real. I'm not worried about Philly, but still, like stuff like that, go all in, like the Rams did last year. Go all in. So,
and it's funny, the Niners went all in for McCaffrey. Look, we gave up a lot for McCaffrey, but we were kind of afraid the Rams would get him, so we paid a little bit of a premium to keep him away from another contender. They're not a contender. Well, the freaking Eagles are a contender, and they're scooping up all these like bargain, smart, veteran, impact players. And Niners like, who cares about Philly? They suck. Yeah.
What do you feel about Jalen Hurts? Because I like Jalen Hurts a lot. Quarterbacks like that, and I'm like, I like Trey. I'm a Trey guy. I like Jimmy. I actually like this Jimmy more than I liked him in the past. He's playing to me with an edge, like a chip on his shoulder, but he's not really showing it as much.
Yeah.
To me, I like what he says in the press conference, like, well, I don't call the plays. It's kind of like a jab. No, go ahead. It's kind of like a jab.
He's been taking jabs at Kyle all year. He's been taking jabs at Kyle all year. So is Kittle. Real quick, with Jalen Hurts, I want to say he has improved, but I think a big part of his improvement has been the addition of A.J. Brown. Same thing happened with Josh Allen. He was improving, then they got Stephon Diggs. That's a big deal. And so you saw in this last game, A.J. Brown got hurt and couldn't really play, and all of a sudden that Eagles team looked like last year's Eagles team. Instantly. So if A.J. Brown is healthy in the playoffs, watch the hell out for that team. If not, we saw them last year. It's the same team.
Yeah, the only game, that's it, man. I'm gonna tell you, only game I'm really worried about is Miami. Believe it or not,
that team looks legit.
I feel legit. I feel like the what is it, like the Wizard of Oz, the
man behind the curtain. Yeah, the man behind the curtain.
Exposed behind the curtain.
Yep.
I don't understand it, but real quick, man, I love the show. 49ers fan, man. Like I put in the comments last time. I became a Niners fan in '94. I went to my then girlfriend's Super Bowl birthday / party. She's my wife now. That was January 29th of 1994. Last time we won the Super Bowl. My son's birthday is January 29th, 2010. Crazy.
That's cool. That's cool.
Thanks,
that's
man.
Great, man.
Appreciate your time, man.
Great call.
Thanks
for calling in. You killed it. Good stuff. All right, we got Keneal and then Bryant. What's up, Keneal?
What's good? Great. I wanted to zoom out so I can show my Niner pajamas. You feel me? I'm representing today a little bit, but what's up?
I was like, oh my God, Keneal!
No.
Okay,
I'm not gonna do nothing crazy. Never. But I wanted to talk about. Obviously, I love what we've been doing recently. I like how Jimmy's been playing. No Jimmy slander. He's playing well.
Yeah.
I want to talk about Trey though. When it comes to Trey, do you think that Kyle will actually activate him at any point? Because I understand the idea, the football value of like, yes, we don't want Brock Purdy to be the backup. But if he activates him before the playoff, isn't the dynamic a little different? Because Trey is
that's why I say the answer is no. That's why I say the answer is no. Okay. I don't think they will. Now, if Jimmy gets hurt, I don't know. Can they activate him then? Does he have to be activated before the playoffs? How does that work?
I don't know.
I'm
kind of asking you.
I covered the league. Let me find out. Let me find out the rules with that. Like, what's the latest you can activate someone? That's a really good question. I don't know. Let me find that out, and I'll do a little video about it today.
And I'm curious about that dynamic as well because, like, now, like, Trey's probably in the meetings now, right, and things like that, and just being around. So
he's here. He's freaking here.
Does he like have a voice now, or is it more like, or is it less because he's injured? Does he not say anything, or is it like if Jimmy makes a wrong read, can Trey point it out?
Trey's the starter, right?
Or is it? You know, like I wonder how.
I don't know if that's his personality. I don't know Trey that well. I don't know if it's. I don't know him that well. I don't know if that's his personality. It seems like he's not that way. It seems like my read on Trey is that he wants people to like him. Which I want people to like me. I'm not judging him, but I don't think he would do that. I don't think he's the kind of guy who would get in a meeting room and be like acting like a jerk. I haven't seen him do it. And I haven't seen Jimmy do it either. Yeah.
I'm not even saying like a jerk though necessarily. Like what if it's like just like don't like the
not like a jerk
that Jimmy's been missing, but like kind of like so I see this like something that he might see that maybe he doesn't think Jimmy like would he even say it, or is it like that's like the big bro starter right now? Like I gotta let it slide. Right. Like I wonder like
maybe he feels like look man I'm not here. Yeah. Also like Trey hasn't like done enough in the league to really. If it were one thing if it were a veteran being like you should do it like this, but Trey's only played 4 games, so he can't necessarily be like, hey, I would
exactly
like this. Like, no, you wouldn't. You don't know.
Right? Like,
that's a tough one.
It's just a weird dynamic, but
it is.
I'm glad he's with the team though. I am glad that he's with them and spending like kind of being around, being on the sidelines and things like that.
Because it's his team.
They were talking about him being like,
it's his team.
But is it? But is it?
Should be. You don't lose your job due to injury. You don't lose your job due to injury. And this Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be a free agent next year.
I'm looking out for the Trey Lance like workout video. The like he's on his way back type of deal, or the rehab like week 15, week 16, like he's starting to throw the football,
putting the pressure, and he's playing with IU.
Something like that, like a little video.
Yeah.
And then I just want to, but I'm cool walking with Jimmy. He's playing well this year, but like I'm just curious. I'm just like it's like in the background, this little elephant.
In retrospect, it's kind of too bad that Kyle put 2 seemingly good guys at odds like that. Like Jimmy's cool, Trey's cool.
Yeah, like
Kyle created this stupid ass situation. Every other coach, when they decide they want to move on from a quarterback, gets him out of the building and moves on, except for Kyle, because he's smarter than everyone, smarter than Andy Reid, literally everyone. Which is why I like him so much and why I think they should extend his contract again. Keneal, it's been a pleasure.
It's always a pleasure, man. You have a good one.
All right, take care. Another extension for Kyle. Voice ad agency says, crazy stat I found arguing with Jimmy Garoppolo fans. Jimmy has played 54 games for SF. 42 picks, 29 fumbles, potential 71 turnovers in 54 games. That's why I think he's probably going to turn the ball over in this game. All right, we got 7 minutes left. I got 3 people left. Bryant, Big Mike, Greg Young. Let's see if we can do this before they kick me out of my hotel room. Bryant.
Hey, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. It's warm in my hotel room.
Real quick, I know you got people coming. So first question, who is a better favorable matchup for the Niners in the playoffs? The Giants or the Eagles?
Oh my God. The Giants. The Giants have no talent. Their number 1 receiver is Richie James Jr. You want to face the Giants.
Okay.
Even though they're a well-coached team.
Okay. And then my next
Eagles
question
are good.
is, who would you rather see the Niners play in the Super Bowl? The New York Niners or the Miami Niners?
That's a good question. I don't know. I'd like to see what Saleh could do against Kyle Shanahan. Saleh's defense is amazing up there. Really good. But then, I don't know. I guess I feel like the Dolphins are a better team than the Jets because they got their quarterback playing at a higher level. So I guess I'll give you don't want to face the Dolphins, I think. That's the team you don't want to face.
All right, man. That's all I got. Everybody, stay faithful. Grant, keep doing what you're doing. If you guys like what this guy's doing, you believe in the process, you believe in quality control, buy a hat, get a cup. All right.
49ersQCmerch.com. Bryant's making him. Thanks,
right.
Steph. Thanks.
Bye, guys.
Later, man. Flave says, you just got in this new relationship with Jimmy and you're already fist bumping Trey. Be careful, man. You're going to lose both. That's funny. Well, I'm just trying to ride the fence like Kyle Shanahan's been doing the last few years. Works for him. Big Mike.
What's going down, Brent?
What's up, man? Where you calling from?
Oh, man, Dallas, man. I'm down here in D-Town, man. I just called in, man, to come holler at you, man. I got 2 things. First, man, when we get in the red zone, man, we got to throw the ball to George Kittle and Juwan Jennings.
Thank you.
We leaving money on the table, man. They the biggest dudes we got, and Kittle don't drop the ball too much. So we got to find ways to get these guys a football. But I want to,
Agree. They keep going to like Ayuk and McCaffrey. It's like,
and if that's your second or third read, okay. But we got to come out with plays that say, okay, George, we get ready to get you the ball. Juwan, hey, we're gonna post you up. We're gonna throw you the ball up high. We got to start utilizing those assets. We're leaving money on the board every week, and we always find a way to get around between 20 and 25 points. That's not going to work against the better team.
Agree. Good call. I like that.
Yeah. And then my big thing is, I'm down here in Dallas, so they think I ride Kyle Shanahan real hard, but I'm very skeptical of him, man. It seems as though he's not trying to be the best version of himself to me, man. He gets in these football games, and it's like a guy trying to study 3 or 4 subjects at one time. He got all these books open, and he don't just focus on one. He learning a little bit out of each book instead of focusing on that one book. And I think he needs to really just settle himself down. And I really, truly agree with you. We're throwing the ball better now, so he has to incorporate that a little bit more instead of trying to just pound Christian McCaffrey consistently, because I'm with you. Elijah Mitchell is the better running back. McCaffrey may be the better player, but for our running game, I think Elijah Mitchell got to be the dog, and then we just hit him with some Christian McCaffrey compliment.
Right. I mean, the last 3 years, the Niners' identity has been being the most physical offense in the league, beating you with power, breaking your will. Okay, well, Christian McCaffrey isn't that. He helps your passing game, and he's a nice gadget player, but if you want to have that identity, you can't put Elijah Mitchell on the back burner. And frankly, they figured it out, because if they hadn't put Elijah Mitchell in the game in the fourth quarter, they wouldn't have won that game. Oh, I lost Big Mike. Oh, you're back. Oh, I lost you again. All right, Big Mike, I think your connection's cutting out a little bit, but good call.
Mike was glitchy, mate.
Good call, man. Sorry about that. Corey Soto says, you say Lance won't be the quarterback next year. I didn't say that. I said I don't know. But it seems like this team see this as the year with this team. But it seems like this team see this as the year with this team before the transition. As Bowie said, 5 years, that's all you got. Kittle traded this offseason. They extended his contract last year. I don't think they can do that. I don't think they would get much cap savings by trading Kittle. Greg, you're the last call of the day. Thank you for waiting.
Grant. Yeah,
how are you?
Good to see you. I
good to see you. Back. He's lagging. All right, we'll try Greg again in a minute. Ryan, turn your camera on and I'll let you on the show. What's up, Ryan?
Hey, how you doing, Grant?
Good, how you doing?
Good. I just had a question about the right tackle position. Am I the only one who thinks we should start Jalen Moore at right tackle?
I think they should too. I think McGlinchey's always been a subpar pass protector, but they liked his run blocking. And I don't see any big runs coming off of him anymore. It seems like whatever that injury was last year, that torn quad, it took a toll, and he doesn't give the impact he used to, and now you should try someone else. With a younger athlete that doesn't have the injury history.
If that's the case, then they should move him to right guard and be swapping him out with Buford.
I just feel like McGlinchey would be a worse guard than tackle because his problem is he lacks power. And
That's
so you move
fair.
him into guard. Now you put him against stronger players, get underneath his pads. Ooh. You'd be better off moving him to tight end, but he can't run or catch. So maybe you just move him to bench. He can lock down that bench spot.
I just worry so much about the right tackle position. He's just such a liability.
I agree. All right, Ryan. Well, I'll talk to the team and see what I can do.
Thanks. See you, Grant.
All right, man. Have a good one. Later. Greg, I got you. Let's do this.
Try it again. But it was good to
Okay.
be.
Oh! Sorry. Greg, we tried. Pro tip. Do a speed test before you come on the show. If you can get 10 megabits on upload, you're going to have a very good stream. If it's less, you're going to be lagging like poor Greg here. I love Greg. I wish I could do what the show. Pause. All right, everyone. Thanks for watching. Almost made it the whole time without saying something stupid. Have a great day. I have to unpack and go to practice. Sorry, Julian. I got to go, man. I got to pack and get the hell out of here. I'll be in Denver tonight, and I'll be in Mexico tomorrow. That's where I'm going. See you guys. Hopefully, Trent Williams doesn't tip any plays between now and the next time I see you.